Tonight, the hunt for a reckless speeding driver who caused peak hour mayhem, then fled. A fringe performer attacked in the mall, why he won't be deterred. Hopes some of our last COVID restrictions could soon be lifted as older South Australians start getting their vaccinations. Facebook's About Face, the tech giant switches Australian news back on. And why the Crows and the Power are going to be seeing a lot more of each other.
Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Jane Doyle.
Good evening. Witnesses say a driver who crashed into an innocent motorist while trying to evade police was travelling at more than 150 kilometres an hour. The suspect remains on the run tonight. A search of his car revealed why.
A suspect on the run, leaving behind a trail of destruction.
Doing about 100 mile an hour, not kilometres an hour, 100 mile an hour. And as he went past me, I could see him coming up towards the green lights and I thought he's going to kill someone.
The driver was trying to evade police on Goodwood Road when he slammed into a Toyota Corolla just after 6 this morning.
I was thinking like that I'll die or something.
Spun the white car around a few times and the little white car, the innocent driver, I went over and assisted him.
Brenton rushed to help, keeping the 40-year-old victim conscious until paramedics arrived.
He had 2 little kiddie seats in the back of his car. Luckily no one was in them.
The suspect left behind a friend who was injured in the crash. A search of his car revealed clues as to why he may have been in such a hurry. Major crash officers descended on the wanted car, seizing several items of interest. Our cameras were there as what appears to be bags of drugs were brought out, as well as loose $50 notes. The man remains on the run tonight. Police know who they're looking for. The victim hopes to be discharged from hospital tonight.
They said there are no broken bones or fractures or anything like that. Just very sore.
Lauren Rose, 7 News.
A fringe performer spat on after confronting a heckler in Rundle Mall says the ugly incident won't deter him. The revolting act and its dramatic aftermath were captured on camera.
As a comedian, Rashawn Daniels deals with hecklers every day, but this was too far.
Everybody seen what you did. You spit in my face. You should know.
He spit in my face, and I tripped him. You can't just go around spitting on people.
The American performer known as Basketball Man has a comedy and tricks show at the Fringe, but during the day he's in Rundle Mall busking and says this man has tried to sabotage almost every show.
I mean, I don't want to fight him. I don't want any dramas. I don't come out here for that. You know, I don't come out here to prove that I'm a tough guy.
But he had no trouble taking him down twice. The scuffle was broken up by witnesses, including fellow performer Banana Man, who was also assaulted last year.
This is the reality of what we have to deal with as performers.
This morning, after the incident, I woke up to a lot of positive messages.
Hello, everybody. My name is Basketball Man. I'm from New York. It's good to be here in Adelaide. This year I'll be performing a show at the Fringe.
This is Basketball Man's 5th year visiting Adelaide's Fringe, and he says it'll take more than one ugly act to scare him away. He's already back performing. In fact, he likes our city so much, he's moved here.
I don't like Adelaide. I love Adelaide!
He says he won't be going to police, but is happy to sit down with the culprit. Elspeth Hussey, 7 News.
There's growing hope tonight a decision on lifting some of our last remaining COVID restrictions could be made as early as tomorrow. This comes as South Australia's vaccine rollout moved into aged care, with hundreds of residents receiving their first shots.
Day 2 of the state's biggest peacetime operation.
Pleased to meet you.
The Premier visits an aged care home where the pandemic is likened to war.
I remember the war years and it was tough, but this was quite tough.
For 4 months of 2020, no one came in and no one went out.
It's not very nice to be locked in, but it's for our own good.
So rolling up their sleeves for a COVID shot was a no-brainer.
I've had so many injections in my life.
And she says this was the easiest of them all.
Didn't feel it. not at all.
The first of 90 residents at this Oaklands Park home to be vaccinated.
Didn't even feel it.
But not everyone will follow their lead.
Aged people are just like the rest of the population. There is a small percentage that won't want to get the vaccine.
By the end of the week, 27 nursing homes across the state will have their first jabs.
Vaccinating every aged care resident and worker in the state will take several months, meaning this phase of the rollout will overlap with the next. But authorities insist residents like these remain the priority.
I've had no concerns raised with me in terms of supply.
And the Premier's confirmed public restrictions will be debated by the Transition Committee tomorrow, with dancing and licensed venues top of the agenda.
As soon as we get that expert advice that we can lift it, well, of course, we will do that.
And barring a setback, border restrictions with Greater Melbourne will be lifted on Thursday night. Mark Mooney, 7 News.
Fire Corps investigators say a grass fire at Pewsey Vale, north of Adelaide, was the work of an arsonist. More than 100 CFS volunteers responded late yesterday, supported by 6 aircraft and local farm units. It took 4 hours to contain the blaze that burned in hilly and difficult to access terrain. Major Crash Police are investigating a fatal accident north of Adelaide that claimed the life of a young man. The 23-year-old from Norwood was behind the wheel of a car that came off the Horrocks Highway at Tarlee and crashed into a tree yesterday afternoon. His death is the 14th on our roads so far this year. Facebook is set to lift its controversial ban on news in Australia after a 6-day standoff. The social media giant has now agreed to pay news organisations for content in a deal just struck with the federal government.
Facebook users had 6 days of no news, then a shock status update.
Facebook has refriended Australia.
The Treasurer and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg have spoken 6 times in 2 days. Now a truce over Australia's media bargaining code.
Australian journalists who generate original content should be remunerated for that. And that has been the purpose of the code.
Last Thursday, Facebook shocked its 17 million Australian users when it took down news sites and dozens of essential health and emergency pages along with it. A furious Facebook not happy it would be forced to pay for news content. Now the government has agreed to last-minute amendments to the code.
It will be important in terms of smaller and regional publishers. There's a mechanism there for a default offer for smaller and regional publishers.
In return, the news ban is lifted.
It's a big win for the many Australians who want to access news through social media.
Facebook said it's satisfied the government has agreed to a number of changes and we can now work to further our investment in public interest journalism.
This truce should keep everyone happy. Facebook will return to the negotiating table to work out commercial deals with media organisations. But while it will restore news pages over coming days, it won't rule out another about face.
With a company the size of Facebook, they need to be respected, but also they need to cooperate with our publishers and our government.
Google has already announced deals worth tens of millions of dollars. Mike Amor, 7 News.
And 7 West Media has become the first major Australian media company to strike a historic deal with Facebook. 7 was also the first Australian media company to reach a similar agreement with Google just last week. 7's chairman, Kerry Stokes, says the 2 deals are a strong recognition of the quality and credibility of our leading news brands and entertainment and will enable us to continue to build our digital platform. While Facebook says this agreement brings the premium news content 7 produces from its newsrooms across Australia to Facebook. The RSPCA is calling for the public's help to track down who shot a brush-tailed possum with a crossbow. Straight to Deanna Williams. And Dee, this is one of the worst and cruelest cases of animal mistreatment we've seen.
It is, Jane. It's hard to believe anyone could do this to a defenceless animal and then leave it to die. The adult female was found by an Aberfoyle Park resident with a crossbow bolt through its body. It was barely alive and somehow still clinging to the top of the garage door. It also had a joey in its pouch. Sadly, neither could be saved.
This is an absolutely callous act of cruelty. This poor possum's death wouldn't have been quick nor painless. It would have been, it would have suffered and its suffering would have been prolonged.
The distraught resident had been looking after the animal for several years. The RSPCA is keen to find the culprit. Possums are a protected species, and as this qualifies as an aggravated act, the penalty includes a $50,000 fine or 4 years behind bars. Jane?
Thanks, Dee. Nearly 2 million Australians, most currently on job seeker payments, will receive an extra $50 a fortnight. It's the biggest boost in 35 years, but comes with strict new conditions.
It's the Welfare Balancing Act those looking for work rely on to survive.
We're ensuring that it's set at a base that we believe is appropriate going forward.
A permanent increase to job seeker of $50 a fortnight, or $3.57 a day.
Just getting pretty much chump change at the end of the day.
That's not going to help no one.
From $565 a fortnight, or $40 a day, JobSeeker doubled with the COVID supplement at its highest. Now resetting to $615 a fortnight, or $43 a day. The income-free threshold has also increased, allowing recipients to earn up to $150 a fortnight without their benefits being cut. $75 a week, costing an extra $9 billion over 4 years.
$25 a week is nowhere near enough. $25 a day would have been closer to the mark.
We need to ensure that we have a system that is fair and sustainable for the people who need it and the taxpayers who pay for it.
The areas with the most single job seeker recipients with no barriers to work include West, Inner and Southeast Melbourne, the Gold Coast, Southeast Perth and Sydney's southwest. The increase to JobSeeker kicks in from April 1, but to qualify, recipients have to jump through a lot more hoops, including more job searches per month and more face-to-face appointments with employment services. And employers will now also be able to report those who are offered a job but turn it down. Rob Scott, 7 News.
Scott Morrison is in damage control tonight after a controversial MP quit the Liberal Party, wiping out the government's majority in Parliament. Craig Kelly blindsided the PM and his colleagues when he made his move without warning.
You are the one always outspoken, often an outlier, now out of the government.
The decision I made was with a very heavy heart.
He has said that his actions were slowing the government down.
Actions like posting discredited COVID cures on Facebook, supporting anti-vaxxers and standing by a controversial staffer being investigated for sexual harassment.
I believe if I'm to speak frankly and fearlessly and make the criticisms of some of these government departments that should be made, I can more effectively do that from the crossbenches.
It leaves the floor of the House of Representatives locked with 75 government members, 68 Labor and now 7 crossbenchers also making 75, and Liberal Speaker Tony Smith with the casting vote.
Today the government has lost its majority on the floor of the House of Representatives.
If the Leader of the Opposition is feeling so confident, Mr Speaker, about the performance of his opposition, Mr Speaker, well then perhaps he'd like to bring on a motion.
Senior Liberals say Mr Kelly had been warned the party was about to dump him from his southwestern Sydney seat of Hughes. Was your pre-selection being threatened?
Look, we have to always put up with pre-selections.
Craig Kelly says he won't bring down the government, guaranteeing supply and confidence. Labor says Scott Morrison should have sacked him before he jumped.
It was the member for Hughes who sacked himself, who had the courage to do what this Prime Minister has declined to do for too long.
Mr Kelly says,
I hope that our Prime Minister Scott Morrison goes on to be one of the best and longest serving Prime Ministers this nation has ever had.
But he'll now sit as an independent, and other parties are already circling.
We'd always welcome someone with courage to speak up and say what they really think.
Yeah, if he wanted to join the Nationals, I'd love him to join the Nationals. I think that it's a decision that Craig would have to make.
His electorate's divided.
Yes, I did vote for him. No, I won't be voting for him again.
I think he's entitled to his opinion about the vaccine.
I think that he won't be missed.
Scott Morrison won't miss the controversies, but will miss his number. Mark Riley, 7 News. He's been in hospital for a full week, but Prince William says his grandfather, the Duke of Edinburgh, is doing okay. Relations between members of the royal family aren't okay, though, with the Queen now set to deliver a televised message the same day as Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah.
This was Prince William's first in-person engagement of the year, the first time he's been out in public since his brothers split from the family and his grandfather's admission to hospital. Visiting a vaccination centre, he was asked by a trusted veteran royal photographer about Prince Philip's condition.
They asked me if my family was well, and they are, and I asked him if his family was well, and they are. I also asked him how the Duke was, and he said he's good. So he said he's good. And I thought, well, you know, that's a nice thing to hear, isn't it?
Welcome news as the family deals with the fallout of Harry and Meghan's official departure while they spruik their podcast.
We're using podcasting to drive powerful conversations
that inspire, challenge and educate.
Appearing at a Spotify event, the deal worth tens of millions of dollars.
We created Archwell Audio to make sure that we can elevate voices that maybe aren't being heard and hear people's stories.
And the biggest part of this is trying to create this community of where you can share.
The couple's intimate interview with Oprah is reportedly being re-edited after the events of the past week. It goes to air on March 7, just hours after a special Commonwealth Day broadcast featuring the Queen, Charles, William and Kate, a scheduling clash of significance. Harry and Meghan may have announced their Oprah interview first, but they certainly would have known that Commonwealth Day always falls on the second Monday in March. In fact, their final royal engagement together and with the rest of the family was at that same service last year. This time, however, it'll be a Sunday night TV special featuring 6 senior members of the royal family, suggesting that the palace is planning on Prince Philip making it through whatever illness it is that has seen him in hospital here for the past 7 nights, Jane. However, there is still no update on his condition.
Thanks, Sarah. Sarah Greenhalgh there live from London. Now, time to check with Soda. What's coming up in sport?
Well, Jane, the Crows and Port Adelaide are set to see a whole lot more of each other over this summer. Now, they've got this weekend's practice match, which has been set, but there's also a very good chance they're going to front a game before the season proper starts. Now, Aussie T20 cricketers, well, they've refused to blame their 2 weeks of isolation for that big loss against New Zealand in the series opening. Skipper Aaron Finch, well, he's had another nightmare and failed to fire with the bat again.
Oh dear. We'll learn more about that shortly. Thanks, Soda. There's growing outrage in Mclarenvale over plans for a toxic waste dump. Next, why locals are so concerned for the region's reputation. Also, the hunt for thieves who took off with a car wash pay machine in the northeastern suburbs. New details emerge about the death of AFL legend Danny Frawley. And hanging up their helmets, the pop stars calling it quits after 3 decades making music.
7 News brought to you by Industry Superfunds.
Pretty soon the amount of super paid on top of our wages will go up. And up. And up. And up. All the way to 12% guaranteed. That extra money will make a big difference when I retire, put my feet up. You see, your future is even more super.
The celebrities and the kids are coming together.
Is this amazing or what, Shermo?
Sunday, these stars thought they'd done it all, but nothing like this.
Oh!
Then Monday,
the kids make the putts. The parents take the hits.
2 massive nights of extreme family fun.
This is Holy Moly!
Sunday and Monday on 7.
What's this? Dude, it's Star on Disney Plus. It's got everything. The Martian, Taken, Pretty Woman.
Any zombie movies?
Nah, but it's got heaps of new stuff. Big Sky, Love Victor.
No zombie movies. They've got Con Air, Cocktail, Coyote Ugly, Witches, Aliens...
And vampires.
Hundreds of series and movies and yet no zombies?
Oh, hang on, my bad. They got 28 days later. Oh, and 28 weeks later.
Now there's something for all of us with Star on Disney Plus.
When you want to update your home's air conditioning, you'll want air with smart automation. Air that's quiet and air that saves energy. A lot of energy. Isn't it time you updated your air conditioner? Mitsubishi Electric. Works for me.
Chicken stir-fry. Vegetable lasagna. Panna cotta. It's Meals on Wheels.
Really?
Really. go to mealsonwheelssa.org.au.
We Aussies love our sheds, where we keep our tools and our toys. For a shed that'll last and great deals across the entire range, it's the Olympic Industries Love Your Shed sale. Olympic Industries, built to last.
Moving house. Take some stress out of moving with Origin's Move Promise. Phew. Call 13MOVE or search Origin Move. Origin. Good energy.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Bone mass peaks in our 30s. You need enough vitamin D to maintain bone strength. Look after your bones with new Austellin Bone Strength, with the added benefit of magnesium, iron or collagen support.
There's growing outrage south of Adelaide tonight over a proposal to dump toxic chemicals at Mclarenvale. Home to internationally acclaimed drops, many say not enough is known about the long-term risks, and at the very least, the region's reputation could be ruined.
Nestled amongst vineyards, a proposed toxic waste dump that has Mclarenvale winemakers seeing red.
It's definitely something that the whole industry needs to be gravely concerned about.
PFAS, a highly toxic group of chemicals found in firefighting foam, could soon be trucked from around the country to this existing landfill site on the doorstep of the world-famous wine region.
Mclarenvale as a region is becoming world famous for sustainable practices, and this seems to go against that. And the risk of any spills or leakages is of grave concern, obviously.
In August last year, hundreds of West Lakes residents were unable to eat homegrown produce after PFAS was found in groundwater. Locals in Mclarenvale fear even a minor leak would spell disaster.
If it does leach, it can go in many directions, and if it does, there's often no way to be able to stop it.
And that could jeopardise thousands of vines, not to mention the region's reputation.
What tourist goes to an area known as a toxic dump?
I really don't understand how they're even contemplating this, to be honest.
Ultimately, it will be the EPA board that has the final say. Members will vote on the issue in coming weeks.
South Australia's got 1 million square kilometres. Why would you pick one of the world's premium food and wine places to dump it? It makes no sense on any level.
Tim Yateman, 7 News.
Police have released video of a brazen daylight robbery by 2 crooks. At first, they try to steal the pay machine at a Windsor Gardens car wash using a drill. After a couple of goes, they up the ante, ramming the machine with their white Peugeot. It was hard yakka lugging it to the vehicle, and it's clear they really hadn't planned a clean getaway. Eventually, the pair took off with the machine hanging out of the boot. A few hours later, it was found emptied and dumped at Glynde. Their car's number plates were fake. New details have emerged surrounding the tragic death of AFL legend Danny Frawley. The coroner's report has been handed down, recommending players pledge to donate their brains for research into concussion.
The courageous captain, popular coach and TV funny man. But Danny Frawley's biggest legacy could be yet to come.
He would be rapt. Absolutely rapt that if he's having an influence.
Frawley lost his battle with depression in 2019, a day after his 56th birthday. Now a coroner has ruled 20 concussions, the first at age 16, likely contributed to his depression.
Brain development doesn't finish till early to mid-20s.
Coroner Parisa Spanos revealed Frawley suffered concussions so severe he needed emergency hospital treatment at least 5 times. He also had CTE, a degenerative condition linked to brain trauma.
The only known risk factor for CTE is the cumulative effects of multiple head knocks.
Frawley's family says today's findings have helped them better understand the tragedy of his death. Coroner Spanos calling on more players to donate their brains, a recommendation welcomed by the AFL, which is encouraging players and families to make similar decisions for the betterment of research.
Without hesitation, I would do that.
Since Mr Frawley's tragic death, the AFL has taken further steps to protect its players. There's strict new rules for season 2021, forcing any player who suffers a concussion to miss at least 1 game. The findings also revealed Frawley experienced dark thoughts before his death and struggled with his reduced role in the media, telling his doctor he felt like he'd become the court jester. Construction is underway at Moorabbin to build a mental health facility named in Danny Frawley's honour. Georgia Love, 7 News.
Overseas now, Boris Johnson has outlined what he's calling a cautious roadmap to end England's harsh COVID lockdown. Almost 18 million people have now been vaccinated across the UK.
This programme of vaccination is creating a shield around the entire population, which means that we're now travelling on a one-way road to freedom.
Under the plan, all coronavirus restrictions will be lifted by June. Electronic music pioneers Daft Punk are calling it quits after 28 years. The Grammy Award-winning French duo is considered one of the most... Live show was here in Australia in 2007. The reason for their split is yet to be confirmed. We've got a string of cool nights across Adelaide this week, but it's not bothering fringe goers this evening. Amelia's down at the garden and you've found a way to beat the chill mills.
Jane, I have basically, you need to find a fringe performer who is rehearsing, ask if you can join in and have a go. I'm with the Camilla Roy Cowboy here. He's one of the stars of Club Briefs International and you can catch them in the garden Tuesday through till Sunday. And if you are heading into the garden to see a show tonight, well, you'll want to rug up because we do have another cool night on the way. This week we are expecting the milder temperatures to continue as well. And on the whole, February's been around ½ degree below average. But don't worry, some warmer conditions on the way into the weekend and into next week as well. I have details on that in the forecast a little later. Jane.
Yeehaw, giddy up. Thanks, Amelia. Well, it's been a sad day for the team at Adelaide Zoo, mourning the passing of 2 favourite animals. Up next, the impact it'll have on their breeding programs. Also, the moment a truck crashed into a car, what the truckie did next may shock you. Why there's an alert over a popular tea, what you need to know, plus the unusual new Adelaide supermarket where everything's made of plastic.
You think you're fast? I'm faster.
With backgrounds in parkour, elite athletics, martial arts and gymnastics, they are the hunters and our players are their prey. Whoa! Only the strong will survive.
The longer they last, the further they'll go.
Could you outrun a superhero? Ultimate Tag, coming soon to 7.
Always make a good impression.
Connecting Bluetooth.
Or just be yourself. Change the rules. The Toyota CHR. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Real work, real experience. Jobs are available now in regional SA with incentives of up to $6,000. See the real opportunities across agriculture, tourism and hospitality. Visit the website and apply now.
When life gives you furriness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. Hoover Tornado Bagless, now $199. Save $100. Hoover Dual Steam Plus, $279. Godfrey's cleanliness.
Try Tip Top Thins. They're a softer, lighter lunch the whole family will enjoy. And each sandwich thin has 35% less calories and carbs than a medium wrap.
Expect more, get more from Climate's end of summer sale. Save on all ducted systems and receive a free AirTouch controller upgrade. At Climate, we have all the top brands. Expect more, get more, and come home to Climate.
Let's get to work with Officeworks, helping you make bigger things happen.
Get out.
Exceedingly good cakes.
Dirt, impurities? Try Micellar Cleansing Water. Micelles work like a magnet, not only removing makeup, it cleanses dirt and impurities and soothes sensitive skin. For the cleanest skin every day. Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water by Garnier, naturally.
South Australia's zoos are coming to terms with the sudden loss of 2 star carnivores. One, Rani the Sumatran tiger, was critical to future breeding programs.
She was one of Adelaide Zoo's star attractions.
Rani in particular was loved by many of our regular visitors, our staff and all our volunteers.
But when the 13-year-old Sumatran tiger turned off her food, vets knew something was very wrong. Exploratory surgery on Sunday revealed multiple tumours. Her abdomen was riddled with aggressive cancer.
And the decision was sadly made to euthanize her.
Rani was brought to Adelaide in 2018 to form a breeding pair with 6-year-old Kembali.
We were about 12 months into that process, and that's something which we were hopefully looking for a very positive outcome.
Adelaide Zoo will now start a worldwide search for a suitable new mate for its male Kembali, but that process could take years. As keepers came to terms with the loss, more devastating news.
Last night, around 5 o'clock, we had to go ahead and euthanize our male cub, Kari.
12-month-old Kari, alongside his 3 sisters, was known as the charismatic show-off at Monarto Safari Park's 360 experience.
About a month ago, he started showing signs wobbly on his feet.
A defect in his spine led to surgery on Friday, but yesterday he took a rapid turn for the worse.
In fact, he couldn't walk at all. It's very upsetting. We have several members that, haven't coped with it.
And a loss that keepers say is already being felt by the pride. Casey Trelaw, 7 News.
Dashcam vision has captured a terrifying highway hit and run near Newcastle. A truck merged onto the New England highway, clipping a black Mazda. It ricocheted off the guardrail before flipping and sliding across the road. The driver of the heavy vehicle fled the scene. A popular tea is being removed from supermarket shelves over concerns of chemical contamination. The recall covers Narada Organics lemon and ginger herbal infusion tea. Customers should take the tea back to their supermarkets for a refund. US President Joe Biden has held a vigil to honour those who've died in the coronavirus pandemic as America reached a horrendous new milestone. More than 500,000 people have now lost their lives, the highest death toll in the world. The new president's approach to the crisis is a far cry from his predecessors.
The south portico of the White House. Lit with memories of 500,000. Candles and a moment's silence, the president reflects on the loneliness of dying from COVID.
So many of them took their final breath alone in America.
Hours earlier, American deaths on Johns Hopkins pandemic dashboard ticked past 500,000. The next highest, Brazil, less than half that.
The day will come when the memory of the loved one you lost will bring a smile to your lips before a tear to your eye.
Candles too in Washington's National Cathedral, and the bells. Too many dead to toll for each. They rang 500 times for each 1,000. Highlighting the pandemic, another way the current president has thrown his predecessor's approach in reverse. President Trump played down COVID's impacts, even as he fell ill with the virus. Today, the former president lost a legal battle to shield his tax records. The US Supreme Court ruling clears New York prosecutors to use them as they investigate possible financial crimes. In the United States, Tim Lester, 7 News.
Back home, Rundle Mall has a new shop, but inside nothing is quite as it seems. The plastic bag shop could pass for a supermarket, only that everything is made out of rubbish. Groceries, fruit and veg, meat, even cakes have all been recreated to send a message about how much food packaging ends up in landfill.
Single-use items are designed to be used and thrown away, so we use them for seconds, but then they actually exist for maybe hundreds, thousands of years. They don't decompose.
The installation's open in the old Harris Scarf store until March 14th as part of the Adelaide Festival. It's been a grim 12 months for the aviation sector, but it was all confetti and champagne at Adelaide Airport today. We'll explain why next. Also, the latest out-of-this-world video of the historic Mars landing. And how much would you pay for this old car? You may be astounded by the offers.
The pursuit.
Where you going, mate?
That leads to the catch.
On the ground now. Ground. On the ground.
But what this man has on him will shock these officers.
What's to go with the tea bags, mate?
The premiere special, Highway Patrol Battlers and Bullheads, tonight on 7.
Oh, I just come from your mum's house.
Jeez, I got a great offer on my new Toyota. I'm still feeling it.
Get the CHR range with a 3.9% comparison rate. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Introducing Light and Easy's new Jumpstart Plus. Jumpstart Plus combines the proven weight loss results of intermittent eating with Light and Easy's delicious summer menu, plus a new app to track your success and help you achieve your goals.
Every week I've consistently lost weight, and the new Jumpstart program really kick-started that for me.
Light and Easy made it pretty easy for me to lose it. I didn't have to think about it. The weight just kept dropping off.
Fast track your weight loss success in 2021 with Light and Easy's new Jumpstart Plus. Jump online today.
Barocca, energy to help keep you on.
What is greatness? It is constantly reaching for perfection. It's that voice inside, pushing you to go further. And never give up. It's what's inside that makes you great. Colgate Total, made for greatness.
Don't spend thousands trying to repair your old inefficient ducted unit. Have Mannix replace it with a new high-efficiency inverter unit from as little as $5,490 fully installed. Call Mannix for a free quote or go online anytime.
At Telstra, our 7-day price match on a range of phones. Using Telstra Plus points and trading in selected phones can help make technology more affordable.
Your destination for the hottest new shows is Stan.
I'm gonna live.
New seasons of the Stan shows you love. And exclusive new shows everyone is talking about.
Whose stories are worth telling? Never let anyone decide that for you.
Your Honour, It's a Sin, Clarice, RuPaul's Drag Race US, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, plus the Stan Original Series Bump. The hottest new shows are only on Stan.
There are more signs of recovery at Adelaide Airport, with Virgin Australia opening a new lounge today. The design will be used as a template for upgrades around the country.
It's a brand new concept for us. Adelaide is the first city to actually get the design, and we look forward to rolling it out in future years across the network.
The new lounge seats almost 300 people, and to help with COVID compliance, guests can order their food and drinks using a QR code. For the first time, we can now hear the sound of wind blowing on another planet. NASA's rover Perseverance beamed the recording back to Earth after landing on Mars. Its perilous descent was captured live on camera.
Their first look at the surface.
Burning through the red planet's atmosphere, this, the surface of Mars, as it's never been seen before.
The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed, and we are seeing significant deceleration.
Supersonic parachutes controlling the Perseverance rover's rapid descent, and every second of the $3 billion mission beamed back to Earth in a NASA first.
Our current velocity is about 90 metres per second.
Meters from touchdown, rocket engines kicking up dust, the howling conditions viewed from every angle.
About 20 metres off the surface.
The images a front row seat for those in control.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars. ready to begin seeking the sands of past life.
It gives me goosebumps every time I see it. Just amazing.
Along with the first video of a Mars landing and accompanying soundtrack, sensitive microphones picking up the first audio of a delicate Martian breeze.
What you did hear 10 seconds in was an actual wind gust on the surface of Mars.
The crisp sights and sounds a world away from this first image of Mars taken in the 60s, and a giant leap forward in the exploration of our planetary neighbour. In the United States, David Woywood, 7 News.
Is extraordinary. Now, an exceptionally rare Porsche found underneath an old church has car enthusiasts buzzing. The turbocharged vehicle has been reduced to a rusted, paint-chipped bomb, but it's expected to fetch an eye-watering sum at auction.
Under the rust, a diamond. The 1958 Porsche 356 Cabriolet, a rarity among sports cars.
Porsche didn't make many of these cars in the day, and very, very few of them actually came here to Australia.
Its original features preserved, including a well-aged but largely intact interior, an engine that hasn't run in decades, up for auction tonight, and competition is hot.
We expect it may well go for anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000.
In 1970, the car was purchased for just $900 by Matt Harding's grandmother, Pamela, who traded her Volkswagen Beetle for it. For 25 years, the Porsche sat rusting under the family's Brisbane home, a former church.
I actually didn't realise it was so valuable. Like Dad always said he had this Porsche, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, just another one of the wrecks he had.
And soon, not just a labour of love.
A lot of people would think that it's insanity to buy a car in this condition.
Once restored, these very rare racing wheels could sell for $100,000 alone. The whole vehicle, stripped, polished up, returned to new, worth $500,000. And then the current owner hopes it will be shown off.
When I sat in it, you feel like you're James Bond, and I think that's what makes it special.
Chris Marr, 7 News.
There you go. Time for sport now, and the Crows and the Power are going to see a lot more of each other in coming weeks.
Well, Jane, because of the COVID world we now live in, they're scheduled to play each other in a practice match this week, but it's likely that they're going to go head-to-head again before the season proper starts. We'll tell you all about that shortly. Also coming up, Erin Phillips has been a key part of 2 Crows flags already. We'll find out why she's so optimistic about this year's squad. Craig Goodwin's loving life back with the Reds and is ready to get down to business. And the pressure mounting on skipper Aaron Finch as Australia's T20 struggles continue.
Two of the most baffling crimes. These 2 double murders are being reinvestigated.
We think one man did all 4 murders. If he did, he is a serial killer.
Based on the most extraordinary true story.
It's easy to frame an innocent man.
The year's most highly anticipated mystery event.
It's like a ticking time bomb. Men like him, they always kill again.
The Pembrokeshire Murders premieres soon on 7.
Well, it's been another sensational day of tennis.
And let's check in courtside with Dylan.
I'm financing like I've never come before.
Dylan, we are live.
ANZ's Financial Wellbeing Challenge breaks your financing down into weekly steps so you can get on top of your money.
Well,
search ANZ Financial Wellbeing.
100 layers of flavour for that refreshing and delicious taste. Refreshing moments are just a tic-tac away.
At Telstra, our 7-day price match on a range of phones. Using Telstra Plus points and trading in selected phones can help make technology more affordable.
For tough pain relief, my go-to is Panadol Extra. Because if I don't, with my migraine headaches, I'm kind of useless in the kitchen. It's good to know you can still help out the people who need you. Together, let's rethink care.
Everybody loves their country. Country is a family business, making it right here in SA. Premium quality every day. Curtains, blinds, even zip tracks to create amazing outdoor rooms. So let's make it modern. Let's make it automated. Let's make it easy.
Let's make it for you.
City, suburbs or regions, Country goes everywhere. So call today for a free measure and quote. Is it any wonder?
Everybody loves a country.
While travel might be out, buying stunning jewellery at Adelaide Exchange is definitely in. There's never been a better time. Beautiful new or vintage jewellery, you won't buy better. Adelaide Exchange Jewellers.
Your destination for the hottest new shows is Stan.
I'm gonna live.
New seasons of the Stan shows you love. And exclusive new shows everyone is talking about.
Whose stories are worth telling? Never let anyone decide that for you.
Your Honour, It's a Sin, Clarice, RuPaul's Drag Race US, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, plus the Stan Original Series Bump. The hottest new shows are only on Stan.
Hello again. Well, the Crows and Power are set to face off in back-to-back summer showdowns after a late fixture reshuffle. Theo Doyle joins us, and Theo, the league's desperate to avoid teams getting caught in another lockdown, it seems.
Yeah, they are, so especially so close to the season. Most teams around the country will play matches within their own state. What it means locally is this Saturday's practice match isn't the only chance the Crows and Power will have to get, well, a little early season bragging rights over one another. Now, the AFL is expected to confirm the changes a little later tonight. As it stood, the Crows were set to fly to Perth to tackle the Dockers, while the Power was heading west for a clash with the Eagles. Now, they're both going to be scrapped, and instead, that weekend will host another mouth-watering summer showdown. Good news for South Aussie footy fans. Now, Crows recruit Jackson Haitley admits he's facing a bit of an uphill battle to break in to Adelaide's midfield.
I've been doing all my work inside as an inside midfielder, so that's definitely the spot that I want to play. And you know, the good thing is we've got these older guys like Sloaney and Crouchy and Laddie that, you know, I'm learning heaps from them.
During his 2 seasons with the Giants, Haitley played one game against crosstown rival Sydney, but the Central District junior who grew up in Adelaide knows there's no better rivalry than the showdown.
That's the game that everyone turns to watch, so I'm definitely excited to keep that building and see that history and then be a part of it in the future.
Sideways isn't always a step in the right direction, but it was for star defender Tom Doedee in his recovery from a groin issue. He joined in most of this morning's session and moved pretty well. Sam Powell-Pepper's expected to play on Saturday despite nursing a bandaged hand. That's after a collision with Hamish Hartlett. Miles Bergman came agonisingly close to his Power debut in 2020 and hopes this season a move back will drive his career forward.
I'm just grateful to learn off them and do my part to get them better and hopefully get a chance if I can, but just keep training the way I can and hopefully push for a spot.
Theo Doyle, 7 News.
And as round one fast approaches, Geelong superstar Patrick Dangerfield is battling another injury. He was spotted leaving the club today with his calf strapped, holding the ice machine. The club says it's just a corky. His pre-season has already been hampered by groin trouble. And after kicking a career-high 4 goals in the Crows' win over Brisbane, dual premiership star Erin Phillips believes her team's depth has never been better.
This is by far the toughest team to ever break into for the Crows squad. It's a good problem to have.
Certainly is. Adelaide is sitting in 4th spot and they'll be looking for their first home win against the Saints at Nord Oval on Sunday. Well, Aaron Finch's horror run with the bat continued as Australia's top order crumbled in the opening T20 against New Zealand. He lasted just the 2 balls and is averaging 7 from 10 innings so far this year. The Aussies were knocked over for 131, chasing 185 for the win.
Full credit to them. We didn't get it right, it seemed, and swung a touch under lights, which we expected, but yeah, we just undone in that power play.
Mitch Marsh top scored with 45. Game 2 is on Thursday. Meanwhile, Dave Warner has revealed it could take him 9 months to fully recover from the groin injury he battled with throughout the summer. And leg spinner Peter Hatzoglu is in line to make his Redbacks debut next week against WA after becoming a cult hero in the BBL. Before being snapped up by the Renegades, he was following in another famous spinner's footsteps at Prospect.
Nathan Lyon played for Prospect Cricket Club as well, so that's the club I play for, obviously. And yeah, so every time I walk into the club rooms, I see his photo up there.
Hatzoglu was working in finance remotely but quit on Friday. Well, Sam Stosur has crashed out in the opening round of the Adelaide International to Aussie qualifier Madison Inglis. Stosur won the first set 7-5 before taking a medical timeout at the end of the second. She returned with her thigh and Achilles heavily strapped. Inglis trailed 3-love in the third, but fought back to close the match out 6-4.
I'm obviously stoked to get the win. I could see Sam wasn't 100% in the third set, so I hope everything's okay with her. So yeah, I think I got a bit lucky in the end there.
She'll now play French Open champion Iga Swiatek in the second round. Ash Barty will start her title defence against Danielle Collins tomorrow night. Well, Adelaide United winger Craig Goodwin has joined his teammates at training for the first time since re-signing with the club. The Reds fan favourite revealing family was a key motivation behind his move home.
Craig Goodwin received a warm embrace on his return to Reds training this week. The 29-year-old signing for his hometown club for the third time.
Probably the most enjoyable years I've had in my career have come at Cooper Stadium. So I'm very excited to be back and like I said before, hopefully I can bring more success with the club.
Family was a big factor in Goodwin's return to Adelaide. He and his fiancée Caitlin are expecting their first child in September.
Yeah, very excited. Obviously, I guess a different chapter for me, and yeah, really excited. We had the first scan yesterday and it makes it a bit more real.
Goodwin will help supply Tommy Urich with more opportunities on goal, and the club is zeroing in on a foreign midfielder.
We're talking to a few. They're playing different positions, but I'm very confident we'll bring a midfielder in this window.
Goodwin's last competitive game was only 24 days ago, meaning a solid week of training will see him included for the Reds away clash with the Wanderers on Saturday. Robbie Cornthwaite, 7 News.
Be good to see him back in action. Of course, if you want to watch some great tennis, go tomorrow night, Memorial Drive, Ash Barty in action then.
That'd be great. Thanks, Soda. Now with a check on the day in finance, here's Gemma Acton.
Thank you. Well, so much for predictions of a poor day for Aussie shares. After a slow start, the ASX 200 finished 58 points higher. The Bank of Queensland rocketed up by 13% after securing funding for its purchase of ME Bank. Meanwhile, the tech giants took quite a tumble. The Aussie dollar has stormed through the 79 US cents mark, while oil keeps marching on, now at $66 a barrel. And while electric vehicle sales have been trending up in recent years, it is at a much slower pace than in many other countries. Last year, only 0.5% of cars sold here were electric. The average globally is 8 times that.
Thanks, Gemma. Some have fled cities in lockdown, others endured weeks in quarantine. Next, the fringe artists who've given their all to make it to Adelaide.
And our mild days are set to continue this week. I'll have the forecast up next. Plus, tonight's ray of sunshine, a group who turn what's old into something new again.
I want to be known as a good doctor, not a good autistic doctor.
Brand new The Good Doctor, tonight on 7.
Your kids never stop surprising you. Give some surprise back. Discover new Kinder Surprise Natoon's South American adventure and help protect local wildlife.
Be healthy. Be out there. Be like Rose.
It was just a photo of me sitting on the beach. I almost didn't recognise myself. So I made the choice to use OptiSlim. It ticked all the boxes. I saw immediate results. I was losing approximately a kilo a week for the first 15 weeks until I hit about 64 kilos. As the weight came off, my confidence came back and it has got me where I am today.
Start your journey your way at optislim.com.au or Chemist Warehouse today.
The new Ford Puma doesn't need a Hollywood-level production. It doesn't need slow motion or an unrealistically good-looking couple. It doesn't need a world-renowned music track or an expensive camera or even a fancy voiceover.
Excuse me. The all-new Ford Puma, starting from only $31,490 drive away.
If you've smoked cannabis, don't drive for at least 24 hours. Even the smallest amount detected will cost your license. Drug drive and you'll get caught long after the high is gone.
It's incredible. Over 80% of tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery have already been sold. Don't miss your chance to live the dream in this fully furnished Scott Salisbury home on the Esplanade at Henley Beach that comes with $1 million cash. There are over 15,000 incredible prizes to win, including luxury vehicles, local getaways, and so much more. Order your tickets now. Proceeds improve the lives of every South Australian.
Is that your dog?
It's the neighbour's dog. Will my insurance cover this?
Budget Direct would have provided you with temporary accommodation for up to a year while they repaired it.
Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Now is the time to get Right Price Heating and Cooling to install the cool air that your family is going to need this summer. For ducted reverse cycle systems, you can't beat Mitsubishi Electric. Mitsubishi stands for energy efficiency and low running costs with up to 6-star rating. Or the energy efficient Breeze Air Evaporative Cooler from as little as the cost of running a single light globe. And to make it even easier, you can get 24 months interest free. Online, call us or visit in-store now.
Sneaky Susie is up to something. Now I'm going to find out all of your secrets. Don't worry, I'm not here to snoop on you. Bit by bit, inch by inch, she's got him hooked. You coming? But why? Home and Away, this week on 7.
This weather report brought to you by Right Price Heating and Cooling.
Fringe performers who pulled out all the stops to get to Adelaide say they can't wait to wow audiences. And with some still to emerge from isolation, there's plenty of excitement building for the rest of the festival.
It was a mad dash to make it for Mad March.
I got a phone call at 4 in the afternoon. I jumped on a plane at 9 o'clock.
I was stressing. I was pacing back and forth, like, how am I going to get home? Like, you know, you miss the mall's balls, let's be honest. So I was pretty keen.
The Fringe has attracted plenty of talent from out of town, though some worried they wouldn't get here. Singer and impressionist Stuart Reeve had to race across from Melbourne, isolation giving him a chance to hone his act.
They had a rehearsal space, so just me in an apartment, you know, annoying everybody else who was around me with songs and impressions, which I do in the show.
Local comedian Thomas Green's now based in London. His mission to escape lockdown saw him holed up in quarantine in Perth, longing to get home.
And I had to prove I was South Australian. I'm like, I'm South Australian, believe me, but I didn't have a driver's license anymore. And I was like, no, I really am, I promise.
Fringe legends Jim Owen and Arj Barker will kick off their seasons tonight after travel restrictions held them back a few days. And while plenty of shows are underway, some performers do remain in isolation, but they're all eagerly awaiting the all clear so they can hit the stage.
We had to get to SA by midnight, otherwise the show may not have gone on, let's just say that. So, and it must.
Acclaimed chanteuse Johanna Allen promises to take audiences to the salons of Paris after her escape from Victoria.
I am really excited to have made it. I'm really, really excited to be working in front of a live audience again.
Tim Hatfield, 7 News.
And she's a great performer too, as they all are. Now, speaking of performers, Amelia's in the Garden of Unearthly Delights tonight, and standing still for now, Amelia.
I am Jane, and I think I'm warmed up too, ready to go with tonight's report, although I can comfortably tell you that it's anything but warm in the city this evening. It's currently 18 degrees, but when you factor in wind chill with these southerly winds we've got at play, it feels more like 14. We hit a top of 22.5 this afternoon, following a cool and cloudy start. Again, there was the odd light shower about southern coast this morning. Yorktown had about 0.5 millimetre, with temperatures remaining well below average across the board too, as a high pressure system to the south of WA directs cool onshore winds in our direction. We can expect those conditions to continue as that system sits tight for the next few days. Interstate tomorrow, we're expecting a few showers over Sydney and Brisbane, but up to 32 in Perth. Back home, and another fine but mild days in store. Top temperatures around the 30-degree mark are tipped across our far north, up to 27 in Port Augusta and Port Pirie, 25 in Ceduna, Kadina and Renmark, 23 in Clare, New Cooriootpa and Murray Bridge. There's just a slight chance of showers about southern coast, so maybe a sprinkle over Victor Harbour. 20 is the top there, and in Mount Gambier. In the city, another low around 12 degrees is on the way. Then a mostly sunny days in store, but expect these breezy conditions to stay. 23 is the forecast top. On metro waters, turning southwest to southeasterly winds around midday, with winds reaching 20 knots north of Grange late in the day, seas around a metre. Looking ahead, and another top of 23s on the way Thursday. Then we warm up a little. 24 is the top Friday, mostly sunny, and 26 Saturday, up to 31 degrees by this time next week. And before I go, let's take a look at tonight's ray of sunshine. We're giving a shout out to the tireless group of volunteers in the shed at the Clarence Park Community Centre. It's where old and broken wooden toys and puzzles are lovingly restored for kindies and community groups. Much of the work's done for free, but the group does appreciate a gold coin donation, and there's also a toy shop to raise money for materials.
If you see the look on some kids' faces when they get something fixed up and what have you, it's terrific.
It is our own little Santa's workshop. Behind me you might see there are some toys as well, so when we don't have repair work or particular community work to do, the participants create.
The shed's been running 3 mornings a week for 40 years, and if you're over 50, well, you're welcome to join in too. Some very beautiful work going on there, Jane.
There is indeed. Thanks, Amelia. Well, that's all the news we have for now. I'll have updates through the evening, but for the time being, from all of us here in the Hindmarsh studios for 7 News, good night.